Inoma ilish, lanabu shamau, shaplish shamatum shuma lazakachat. Inoma ilish, lanabu papili.
These were the first words recorded by the Babylonians at the dawn of history, inscribed in the ancient Akkadian language, a language in which the earliest secrets of the earth were buried, in which only a few people can still read or understand. After the rise of Nimrod's reign, along the banks of the Euphrates River in the land of Iraq, magic spread across Babylon like fire through dry wood. Babylon is mentioned in the heavenly scriptures, where it is stated that demons recited magic to the people and taught it to them. Never before had the earth witnessed magic greater or more dangerous than that practiced by the priests of Babylon. Even the priests of Eshmun and the demons of the Temple of Amun learned black magic from the Babylonians and later spread it to ancient Egypt. Some Aramean historians, among them Nebo, recorded that the Babylonians defeated the Arameans by using black magic and sorcery against them, clouding their minds and blinding their vision until they were no longer able to fight. Magic in Babylon was passed down from generation to generation as they drank deeply from books of spells and sorcery, mastering the dark arts until they perfected them. Then, from among them, emerged a sorcerer whose wickedness and power had never been seen before on earth. In that era, he was known as Hazard, named after the tyrant Nimrod. He became their leader in evil and the supreme master of black magic, wielding a form of sorcery never known in Babylon before. Magic is not a myth nor a work of imagination. It is a reality affirmed by the Quran and the Gospel, and documented by ancient and modern history alike. It spread to the world from the lands of Babylon, Akkad, Assyria, and Sumer. The Babylonians were a people who documented everything, developing a unique system of record-keeping that led them to build the greatest library of knowledge of their time. Yet hidden within its tablets lay an ancient evil and cursed whispers known as ancient black magic. These tablets recounted spells of magic that I will not read to you, but they spoke of the battles of Babylon and how its people defeated their enemies through magic and sorcery, not by swords alone. Ancient historical records mention that a sorcerer was born in Babylon who is considered among the most dangerous practitioners of magic and astrology the world has ever known. This was around 1900 BCE, hundreds of years after the destruction of Nimrod. Those records did not elaborate on his childhood or early life, as their entire focus was on the power of his magic and the tyranny that overshadowed Babylon. It was clear that he was no ordinary sorcerer, but rather the prince of sorcerers and their undisputed leader. In the early years of his life, Hazard was deeply influenced by the masters of magic in the city of Uruk, the ancient Sumerian Babylonian city located on the banks of the Euphrates River, approximately 35 miles from the city of Uruk. There, he learned from Sumerian and Assyrian tablets and refined his knowledge through the arts of black magic practiced by the Babylonians. But what Hazard later brought forth was unfamiliar even to Babylon itself. He introduced a malicious form of magic believed to have been learned from demons, a magic known as the demonic Zazu. The word Zazu in the Babylonian language refers to the spirits of the dead. It is a type of black magic based on summoning those spirits to extract hidden secrets, whether from their own past. This type of magic is known in the modern era as necromancy. Tragically, this magic, despite its grotesque nature, did not disappear. It is still practiced to this day and is considered one of the most vile and dangerous forms of magic ever known. Hazard mastered this dark art in two ways, both of which send chills down the spine. The first relied on obscure rituals through which spirits were summoned by forbidden symbols and whispered incantations. The second was far more brutal, involving horrifying practices said to wrench from the dead everything they had known, heard, and learned during their earthly lives. Thus, Hazard was no longer merely a sorcerer, but a symbol of terror. His name alone was enough to spread fear throughout the hearts of the people of Babylon. Necromancy, also known as Zazu magic, is a method of summoning spirits and extracting secrets from the dead. This magic had a profound impact on Babylon, making it a name feared by the sorcerers of Uruk and cursed by the priests of Eshmun and the temples of Amun. However, the truth hidden behind this fame was not as the people of Babylon believed. Rather, it lay in eye magic, the inflammation of minds, and the extraction of information from the human familiars among the devils. Hazard claimed that he was summoning spirits, but this was a great lie and slander, for in reality, he was summoning the familiar of the deceased person. Every human being has a unique familiar. There is no single familiar shared by two people, nor are there two familiars for one person. The word familiar literally means the constant companion. Does a person not know himself? Likewise, the familiar knows the most precise details of its companion's life. Through this method, the accursed Hazard would summon the familiars from the jinn and devils after submitting to their demands. They would then grant him secrets from the lives of their human counterparts. Yet they would not give any of these secrets unless the summoner performed acts that cannot be mentioned, as they are disbelief and heresy. Hazard knew deep within himself that the magic which astonished Babylon was nothing more than the result of his service to the devils. Therefore, he sought a special magic that would grant him true power. He persistently pursued the learning of the arts of Babylonian magi. The magi is a Babylonian term meaning black magic, which appeared during the reign of King Nimrod. Historians state that he used magic from Zazu to summon familiars and to acquire power from the magic of Azazel and Ghazi tattoos. These are the two names recorded in Babylonian history as references to Harut and Marut, for it was believed that their magic was among the most severe and destructive forms of magic that descended upon ancient Babylon. Some accounts mention that he summoned a number of the familiars of that era. These are the two names recorded in Babylonian history as references to Harut and Marut, for it was believed that their magic was among the most severe and destructive forms of magic that descended upon ancient Babylon. Some accounts mention that he summoned a number of the familiars of that era. The writer Ahmed Khaled Tawfiq mentions in his novel Antichristos that Hazard summoned the familiar of the enchantress Inanna, known to the Babylonians as Ishtar, the princess of beauty and the harlot of kings, in order to copy the teachings of ancient magic. It is said that she was among those who most closely associated with sorcerers and mingled with their evil. The Romans immortalized her in their history under the name Venus, the Greeks knew her as Aphrodite, and the Arabs worshipped her under the name Al-Lat. However, we did not find any historical text that confirms a relationship between Hazard and Inanna. Other accounts state that Hazard used to prostrate himself to Iblis, just as Nimrod had done before him, in order to acquire greater magic and more malignant evil. Did the evil of Hazard stop at this point? The simple answer is, of course, no. Rather, there are darker matters that will be revealed at the end of this documentary. Hazard then suddenly began urging the Babylonians to worship the planets and glorify the sun. The Babylonians believed that the planets possessed the ability to influence human life, exactly as astrologers claim today. Many people still believe in these matters to such an extent that some of them remain confined to their homes, afraid to go outside, because they heard from an astrology charlatan that Mars would enter the orbit of Gemini, which would bring them misfortune and failure. More strange than that is that this is called science, without the listener realizing that it is merely a form of deception. They are known today as horoscope readers and astrologers, appearing on television screens at the end of every year, listened to by millions of people. This was Hazard's method of drowning people in the illusion of horoscopes and the worship of planets. He did not stop there, but also called for the glorification of the sun and fire, a request made directly by the devils themselves. He was, in effect, the speaking devil in the land, misleading people by their command, and growing stronger through their magic. The devil has an ancient obsession with the sun and fire. He called for their worship in civilizations that came before Babylon and those that followed it, deceiving people with claims of their greatness and immensity, despite God describing the sun as a lamp and the earth as a place of stability. Thus, the glorification of the sun and fire became a path adopted by Hazard and his devils to spread among the people of Babylon, a path that is still practiced in different forms to this day. The writer Harry Sachs mentions in his book, The Greatness of Babylon, that astrology, based on prediction, was considered legitimate according to Babylonian theology. This way of thinking continues to receive reverence within the modern global system, where Babylonian and ancient Egyptian symbols appear in international organizations, secret societies, and political and religious institutions. In this context, an important historical question arises. Who built Babylon, and how did magic first appear there? Sources state that the devils were the ones who first recited magic to the people of Babylon and taught it to them, while the building of Babylon itself is not as commonly believed. It is mentioned in Mujam al-Buldan and al-Tahrir wa al-Tanwir that Babylon is among the oldest cities in the world and that its name is of Chaldean origin, Babu Ilio, meaning Gate of God. Some historians state that the first to inhabit it were the sons of Noah, peace be upon him, after the Great Flood. Later, the Sumerians, Assyrians, and Babylonians succeeded one another there, making it the first land of Mesopotamia in Iraq. Here, we reach the end of this episode. You now know who the greatest sorcerer in human history was. In a future episode, we will address Babylon and the life of Nimrod.